So the question was, did I go to college? Yes, I did. But when I went, this was pre-80s, when I told you that where they tried to make everybody go to college. To be honest, that was something I wanted to do. Although with my visual impairment and all those things, it was very difficult for me, and we were very poor. Didn't use the bathroom. I didn't go to an inside toilet until I was about 16. We didn't have a phone until I went to college, so it was very poor. But I did go to college because there's some things you have to go to college for. If you're a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer like myself, or a counselor, I'm also a certified counselor, you have to have a certain base level of knowledge. And then after you get that knowledge, then it's all about how hard you work and the kind of connections you want to make and to advance yourself up in your career. So I did go to college. Another question? You have a question?
Besides my brother, I'll be the only writer to go to college. I dabbled for a week, and like you said, it wasn't for him. And then he just kind of like left after the first semester. And he now works his hands off in coal. And every time we'll talk about education, it's like you gotta go to college, make some of yourself. Don't be like me, work hard every day.
But see, don't be like him and work hard every day. There's a lot of value in working hard. There's a whole lot of value in working hard, and people ignore that fact. Working hard is a good thing. Now, if he's not realized his potential, that's something he has to work out. But just because you work with your hands doesn't mean you're not doing something fulfilling to you. Some people enjoy that. I know people that love being a coal miner. They love it. That's what they live for. I know people that love being an EMT. They work their rear end off. They don't get paid very well, but they love it. That fills a void. That helps them get through. So it's not all about working hard is actually really diminished in our society today. Working with your hands. Most of the industry nowadays, they are begging for people to work with their hands now. Go ahead. About what?
About the vocation.
Yes.
I took vocational my year for nursing, and I'm taking it again my senior year. And hopefully this year, by the end of it, I can get my CNA license.
You will have your CNA license and come out probably making $30,000 a year.
High school, I could have a job.
Straight out, have a job,
And it could cut down my college.
making good money. But now, I wouldn't just stop at your CNA. I would probably try to find something advanced within that medical, because medical technology is a big field that you don't have to have a bachelor's degree for.
I plan on either becoming a nurse or a nurse practitioner.
Right. So you get into that field and you work your way up. It's not uncommon to work in that industry as a phlebotomist. And then once you look around and you say, oh, there's something else I want to do. Maybe I want to be a radiology technician, or maybe I want to do something else. And so you look around at what's available within that industry. You get trained, you get you some skills, and you start making you some money. There's quick money in the trades right now. Good tradesmen, good skilled, vocational, voc ed people could really make a quick, good living right out of the box. Any questions? Yeah.
On your take on going to the Army right out of high school, what do you think about that?
The Army is an absolutely wonderful choice. You can learn a skill, you get paid doing it, you get to travel. It's again one of those, just like vocational education, the armed services is a very underutilized tool that teachers, educators, guidance counselors, they don't offer that up to you as a viable option. Usually you learn those things, like even vocational school, you learn that after you failed at something else, and that's the worst thing in the world. That should be a real decision for you and not have you feel like you've settled for it. You want to take control of those situations, and the armed services is an excellent opportunity for a young person to get out, see the world, sample different things, you know. And so that's a real excellent opportunity for somebody. So you always talk to a recruiter. I mean, you could, at the time, after 17, you can actually start talking to your recruiter. Any other questions? Sure.
What kind of advice would you give to someone who wants a lesser common job that, like, there's specific schools, I want to do art therapy, but there's specific schools that do have art therapy programs, but I also have the anxiety of college.
Well,
And there is a bit of a higher demand for it, but
there's a certain amount of anxiety with everything you do, guys. Okay, so don't let commercials fool you. Don't let people fool you. Anxiety is part of life. Anxiety to me is that thing that lets you know you're alive. Now, you don't want to be paralyzed by your anxiety. There's a difference in having anxiety. Heck, I'm having anxiety right now, talking. I'm on camera. But see, some anxiety is good for you. And to say that you should have no anxiety in your life is also not true. There's always a certain amount of it, okay, that you got to have. So if your career path is something that you want to do with art therapy, you do have to have some training in that, a good basic level of knowledge. But there's a high demand for art therapy in schools, in grade schools, elementary schools, and even in mental health facilities. So if you want to explore that, then you should self-educate yourself, because to be honest, most of your guidance counselors aren't going to do it. They don't have the time. They're not real skilled at it. So if you really want and you're jazzed about something, everyone here has a smartphone, right? Or an iPhone, or has access to one, or has access to a computer. Get on a computer, do yourself a favor, and do your own research. And educate yourself about what you can do and the avenues that's open for you. All right? Any other questions? Nothing at all? All right, guys. Thank you. All right, that was